What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news each and every day. I'm Drew Bosley, that's Scott Savage, and you can join us at InsideTheGame.ca, our YouTube channel, Inside the Game Official. Make sure you subscribe when you're there. Of course, you can hit us up on our Fast channel over on Rad TV and the other TV streaming networks around the globe, just like Jinx Esports TV, Amazon Prime, Roku, ESTV, and a whole lot more. But we also got you covered on the audio side. Hit up our friends at Fired Up Network. We're across 212 platforms over there. Scott, we don't have 212 topics today, but we got a couple. What are we talking about?
We do have a few, yes. The Embracer CEO has refused to talk about Knights of the Old Republic remake. Not a good sign. Nope. Embracer has also written down 15 projects, meaning lessen the value. And The Last of Us Part 2 has a PlayStation 5 version in the works. Dragon's Dogma 2 release date has been leaked ahead of the intended announcement. And REDFALL content has been delayed again. Shocker.
Yeah, that's too bad. But The Last of Us Part 2 could be coming to PS5. That's cool. But right now, let's get to it. More Embracer Group. Scott, here we go once more. But dude, the mysteries behind Embracer are just everywhere. From the time they were purchasing everything to the layoffs and closures, and well, it just keeps on going as the CEO just flat out refuses to talk about the KOTOR Remake. Andy Chalk over PC Gamer. The Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake sparked some serious excitement when it was announced back in 2021, 2 years ago now, Scott, at this point. KOTOR is seriously good, is a seriously good RPG and a top tier Star Wars experience, but at 20 years old, it's also very dated. Unfortunately, it has not been smooth sailing since, and at this point, there's legitimate doubt that the remake will ever see the light of day. And there is no good news on the status of the game in the most recent Embracer Group financial report. In fact, it was quite the opposite. There is no mention of the game at all in Embracer Group's Q2 press release. The only sign of it in the full financial report was an acknowledgement that Embracer had previously announced it. Oh man. That led one brave analyst to ask about the game in a subsequent earning call via Seeking Alpha, to which CEO Lars Wingefors replied, quote, "I noticed that anything I say to this becomes a headline, so that is my only comment," end quote. Dude, what? No comment though, like this? Like that's a horrible statement to put out. People want to know where this game is at. Your investors would like to know where this game is at. Everybody wants to know if this game even exists anymore at this point. And the way Embracer is slowly dying off, I don't think we'll ever see this game, Scott.
I don't think the odds are very high that we're going to see it at all. This was going to be this could have been the opportunity for Lars to say, yeah, I'm glad you asked. Here it is. And here's why you should be excited about Embracer Group.
Yeah.
It's really a PR opportunity there, but this is the opposite. Because it's not mentioned at all, and they're not proud to be revealing the details about it, we're not getting this for a very long time, if at all.
Well, I think that's just it. I think if we all at all get this thing right, like you mentioned, here's his opportunity to kind of have some saving grace for Embracer Group. If he hasn't noticed, the media, us, like, we think you're a dying brand right now, right? At this point, I think Embracer, if you're under that Embracer brand, man, you're kind of holding on for dear life, wondering if you're the next to go. They shut down Volition. They laid off numerous people. Crystal Dynamics, dude, I'm terrified for them. Right? Gearbox, they're talking about laying off people at Gearbox. They did lay off certain people at Gearbox. And now, like, man, I've heard other rumblings that Gearbox is actually okay, but there's other things I'm just like, man, I don't know. Like, I don't really know what's going on at at the Embracer Group, because Lars doesn't come out and give you any significant reason to trust him, right? That's the thing. We talk about Xbox, we talk about PlayStation, and how they have this face. And I'm not necessarily saying the Embracer Group needs a face, but the face of the company right now for Embracer Group is the CEO. It's Lars himself, who needs to kind of put out the flame, and he's not doing that. He's just adding fuel to the fire. Where you go to Xbox, Dude, it's Phil Spencer, right? Hands down, Phil Spencer is the guy when you talk about Xbox. PlayStation, we're still not sure who that is, but they're not in the hot water where they are with Embracer. But right now, all eyes are on Lars going, what's going on? And when you tell us nothing at all right now about KOTOR, here we go again. Dude, just another Star Wars game lost forever, which is unfortunate. I wonder when the contract ends and somebody else is able to pick this up and fix it and remount. Like, dude, when they announced this 2 years ago, everybody's like, yo, here we go. And this could be the saving grace for Embracer Group, Scott.
It could be. It really could turn a lot of numbers. But I think this is something that Lars should look at, hiring a PR spokesman, because there is a real practical effect to having that in here. Not just PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. Everybody needs one in some regard if you're going to be fielding questions, difficult questions that you don't have the answer to.
Yeah, that just reply, quote, I noticed that anything I say to this becomes a headline. Yep, it sure does, because people are hungry for it, right? Welcome to the video game industry, man. Anything leaks out, people are all over it. Look at GTA. Everybody's looking for GTA 6. A little nugget of GTA 6 drops. Internet explodes for that day, right? But I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep our ears peeled and our eyes peeled, looking to see what else Embracer Group does, because they're always in the news for something, and most times it's never good. Scott, the conversation continues with more Embracer as they've written down 15 projects. It says further studio closures and buyouts planned. Buyouts? They're buying? Oh, man. Tom Ivan over at BGC. The company announced in June that it was implementing a restructuring program which would involve the closure of studios and the cancellation of some projects. It has since shut down studios like Saints Row developer Volition and Campfire Cobalt, while others have reportedly been put up for sale, such as Borderlands, the maker, Gearbox. Dude.
Oh.
I don't know. Like, I'm telling you, what Embracer, you guys.
Every time Embracer comes up, it's just really to boggle the mind, a head scratcher.
Absolutely. Embracer has also made layoffs at companies including Tomb Raider developer Crystal Dynamics, Knights of the Old Republic remake studio Beandog, and pinball effects maker Zen Studios, among others. On Thursday, Embracer confirmed that the ongoing restructuring resulted in over 900 employees being let go during its second quarter, ended in September. 900, Scott. So we've had an all-time high this year of over 6,000 people being laid off in our games industry. 900 of them just came from Embracer Group.
No, it's a huge amount. And it's more every day. Every week there's even more. I think the 6,000 is an outdated number at this point. An incredible amount of people.
Absolutely. Muj Bulin, the chief financial officer over at Embracer, the board game company Asmodee, who is also serving as finance workstream, led to the group's restructuring project, said over half of the staff that left were developers. She also confirmed that, quote, 15 mainly unannounced projects, end quote, have been written down across Amplifier, Free Mode, Gearbox, PlayOn, Saber Interactive, and THQ Nordic, as opposed to write-offs, which were reduced value to zero its accounting terms. Write-downs can be incremental reductions or partial loss of value. Scott, is this the demise of Embracer Group?
It certainly seems that way. Yeah, I'm glad there's an explanation on that term, because write down, what comes to mind is, well, on paper, what big deal? But no, this is significantly reducing what their assessed value is going to be in the future. This does not look good. This does not look good at all.
I'm waiting for the headline to come out where Embracer claims bankruptcy. That's what I expect to see in the near future. It just doesn't seem like this is going to come around. They're selling off everybody. When we just talked about KOTOR, one of their biggest chances to make a comeback, Lars won't even talk about it. And here we go now with, we know Saints Row team, Volition, has been shut down. Gearbox now in trouble. Zen Studios. Dude, Zen Studios has been around forever. I played so many of their pinball games. So many. The Walking Dead, one of the best. Absolutely incredible. However, here we are. Dude, every time Embracer comes up, it's never in a good light. And it can only hurt the company as this conversation continues. Where can they change things? How do they turn it around for themselves, Scott? Can they?
Yeah, I'm starting to believe they can't. And I'm not even certain if it's up to Embracer at this point, or if it's just we're seeing the results of what's happened over a couple of years now. The inevitability of the boom and then the resettling after the pandemic and everything.
Yep.
Every budget got inflated giant and then got cut and slashed. So I think this is just kind of what we get. That's the result of that. But Embracer may, interestingly enough, maybe kind of slowing that fall off effect.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to fix themselves, right? Crystal Dynamics is working with Xbox, so there's a kind of a bit of a hope there, right? They're also working on Perfect Dark project, like they're in with, is it the Initiative? That's the team working on it. So they're like, there's some hope that they can kind of survive a little bit. If they can, though, maybe Crystal Dynamics might want to get out on their own. Get us another Deus Ex game, Scott. We need IOS Montreal in there. Help us.
That would be nice. Yes, let's put some of these teams together and start printing money again.
Absolutely. I don't know, man. This could be the demise of the Embracer Group. I don't know what else to say at this point. I'm just exhausted from talking about them. Scott, a PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 2 reportedly added to PlayStation's database. Jordan Miller at BGC. Boy, never saw this one coming. How about we get the multiplayer, though? Please. Don't add The Last of Us Part 2. Give us the multiplayer.
Does this mean the remaster is on the way?
Yeah, absolutely. This is exactly what this means. Twitter account PlayStation Game Size, which has a history of scraping the back end of the PlayStation Network to find out what has been added to it, has suggested that a PS5 version of the 2020 PS4 game has been added, suggesting a release could be imminent. Despite releasing only months before the launch of the PlayStation 5, The Last of Us Part 2 never received a native PS5 version or a director's cut re-release like Sucker Punch, which is Ghost of Tsushima, which is a fantastic game, dude. Love that game. The first game in the series, 2013's The Last of Us, received a remake in the form of The Last of Us Part 1 last year. This saw the original game refreshed with PS5 quality models, similar to those used in the flashback sequences of The Last of Us Part 2. In October, an advert on the PlayStation Store for PlayStation Plus showed off artwork of The Last of Us Part 2, despite the game not being available on any tier of the subscription service. Also in October, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered was spotted on the LinkedIn profile of a Naughty Dog developer, although mention of the game has since been erased from their online resume.
Oh, you get in trouble for that one.
Yep, I'm sure they did. Scott, this is just, at this point, when we've had The Last of Us. The Last of Us got remade on the PS4. The Last of Us got remade for the PS5. Now we're getting The Last of Us Part 2 remade for the PS5. Who's shocked by this? Because I am not. Because why? This sells, dude. The Last of Us just sells. And PlayStation likes the money, dude, and it works. I want to play it too. Dude, I want that. It already looked great on PS4. But if I get this on PS5, oh, wow. We're at a whole other level.
Oh, because of what I've seen already on the PlayStation 4, I'm thinking, how much better could it really get? But that's what we ask ourselves every 5 or 10 years, and it just continues to get better and better. I'm wondering what the time frame was on the first Last of Us and its remakes, because I wasn't paying attention to them back then. But 3 years on seems quite like it hasn't been long enough. But then again, because of its awkward release right before the PlayStation 5, I suppose it does make sense.
Yeah.
Just too bad they couldn't hold off for that launch title. It would have sold another, well, PlayStation hardware was hard to find at the time. So
certainly was, that without a doubt. Now, granted though, where it just comes, the bigger question is, where's the multiplayer? Do we see this announcement at the Game Awards?
Ooh, that would be a good place to announce it. In either case, whether it be multiplayer or, you know what, actually, they better have the multiplayer or ready to speak about it if they're going to make any sort of announcements for Last of Us. You are inviting a lot of questions.
Well, there's going to be a lot of going, okay, seriously, we're getting the remaster of The Last of Us Part 2, but where's the multiplayer? That was my first question, right? I'm just as anxious as everybody else to get in on this multiplayer. Nobody knows what's going on besides a smaller team working on it now, which never really bodes well in my eyes. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Last of Us Part 2 remake sounds to be on the way. No big surprise. Scott, did you ever play Dragon's Dogma?
I did for
Really?
a short amount of time. Yeah, it didn't really hook me because I wasn't very good at it.
What about Dragon's Dogma 2, which has a release date set for March 22nd, 2024, according to Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming? Let's check it out. The Pan-European Game Information Board, also known as PEGI 18, has revealed that Dragon's Dogma 2 release date is on March 22nd, 2024. In addition to the listing, which appears to have been published prematurely, whoops, before the official announcement, it has been revealed that the game will have in-game purchases. Scott, here we go. Dragon's Dogma 2 was first revealed in May 2023 during a Capcom showcase. A new showcase for the game will take place on November 28th, 2023, which will contain around 15 minutes of information and footage. The official description of the game reads, "Set forth on your grand adventure horizon." That's it, Scott. Wow. Dragon's Dogma is a single-player narrative-driven action RPG series that challenges the players to choose their own experience, from the appearance of the Arisen, their vocation, their party, how to approach different situations, and more. Now in this long-awaited sequel, the deep, explorable fantasy world of Dragon's Dogma 2 awaits. On your journey, you'll be joined by pawns, which I find a bit of a weird terminology to use as your co-op, or like, it's not even co-op, right? It's just your companions.
That's the big problem, is that it's not co-op. It is your AI companion, and you command them almost directly. That's why it's a pawn. But
yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of backlash already talking about this game and how it's not co-op, and I have to echo that as well, because it was my housemate that had got me into the game. And if we could have played the two of us, it would have been so much more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Mysterious otherworld beings in an adventure so unique, you will feel as if accompanied by other players while on your own adventure. That right there, like, that's the setup, right? Yeah. On your journey, you'll be joined by pawns, mysterious otherworldly beings in an adventure so unique that you will feel as accompanied by other players while on your own adventure. So we just didn't want to do co-op, so we give you companions instead.
Yeah, it's strange, the system at work too, because you and I being on a friends list, I would see you as one of the pawns in my world. Oh. So it's almost like we're playing co-op.
So
a bit of a almost a No Man's Sky kind of thing, where we could be in the same place in the same world, and I can almost see you. We're almost there.
Yeah, except they were able to fix it, right? In Hello Games, you can actually play together now. But either way, for No Man's Sky, it
gives me hope.
Well, that's just it. If Hello Games with No Man's Sky can fix this, can the team working on Dragon's Dogma? It escapes me who they are, actually. What is this studio behind them? Do we know? Oh, now I gotta look.
I can't recall. I'm looking it up. This moment. Yeah,
I'm looking it up.
I know I'm gonna remember as soon as you say it. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I know it's Capcom, obviously, is the publisher, but who is the team working on the game?
You didn't play any of the first one, did you?
I did not play the first one. I saw it though, and after watching like the sequel, the trailers, and everything else, man, it looks cool. Like, I'm into it. I definitely want to check it out.
I just wanted to be the character from Shadow of the Colossus, climb all over every enemy.
Man, yeah, that's cool.
My pawn would have a big shield and would use it to throw me up in the air. That was the fun I had with that game.
It just says Capcom. Huh. So there we go. Either way, I'm thinking there's somebody else behind it though, right? Like, I thought it was Capcom as a publisher. Maybe they are the developer too. Either way, it looks cool to me, but man, it's just what a misstep though, not to add in co-op. Allow us to have, like, how many games have we had your AI companions join you, but then if you have a co-op partner instead, that AI companion gets bumped, and then your co-op partner joins, right? Like, that would be something to take this game to that next level. Do you think it has a chance next year for a Game of the Year discussion?
I think it very well could. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 1, I don't think it got quite the attention it deserved.
Yeah.
But everybody remembers it with fond memories. So I think it's going to be one of those. After the first game, people know what to expect now. The name got out there. I think the second one will have much better of a reception.
Cool.
As long as everything lands with a good launch.
Well, that's just
all
it.
at launch day.
In the in-game purchases, what are we buying? Like skins? Probably.
No,
right?
it's gonna
Cosmetics? Really... Horse armor?
Am I buying the ability to now have you as a pawn instead of just a random pawn? Am I buying fatalities?
I don't know. We'll find out more on November 28th. Scott, Bethesda gives us a quick update on REDFALL's upcoming patch. DLC upgrade. Man, it's just, I can't believe this game is still going. But hey, good on them for sticking with it, because that's a tough one to get through at the end of the day, right? Andy Chalk over PC Gamer. Arcane has dropped a new update for its undead shooter REDFALL that adds a powerful new weapon, makes a number of changes to AI, missions, and gameplay, and introduces a handful of performance and stability tweaks. Unfortunately, it also revealed the promised, quote, hero pass, end quote, a $30 upgrade to the base game that promises 2 new heroes to play as. It is still in development and won't be around until sometime in 2024. Well, God, man, it keeps going. I'll give you that. I'm not really sure who's still playing though.
No, I want to give respect to the studio, one of my favorite studios.
Yeah, mine too.
At this point, I did not expect to be still talking about REDFALL in 2024 at all. I can't believe it's still being worked on, and unfortunately, we're not getting dishonored in this amount of time being spent.
Well, that's just it. At this state in the game's life cycle, is it really worth a hero pass? Do you want to spend $30 on 2 new heroes? For what purpose? It's like, granted, I didn't play the game, but if anybody paid attention at all, I didn't need to play the game. It's just also not my style of game either, right? So
I am seeing a lot of positive feedback on Twitter posts regarding this, actually. I'm quite surprised to report that there is still a lot of people interested in the game.
Well, which is cool to see. I'm glad that Arcane's sticking with it. Bethesda's standing behind them to say, hey, yeah, you know what? Take the time, fix this game, and bring it to the state it needs to be. That's the biggest takeaway, is that they want to bring it to where it belongs. Scott, it's Friday. That's right, the weekend is upon us, and we've got some new games to play. What's on the list today?
We have Tiger Blade on PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2. Naruto Cross Baruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections. I have a friend that's a really big fan of those. PC, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and Nintendo Switch. The Walking Dead Destinies comes out on PC, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and Switch, and I'm very curious to see how that one works out. Persona 5 Tactica is on the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 4, PC, Xbox One, XS, and Switch. And Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars Remake is on the Switch today.
There's a few games. And that'll wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news each and every day. We'll be back next week. I'm Drew. That's Scott.
And we'll see you inside the game.